Aunt Mary was a nun. My mother tells a very sad tale. My great-grandparents had 5 children, I guess. All of the older ones were married or getting married. They decided they needed one person to be a nun or a priest. Uncle Ralph didn't go, so they sent Aunt Mary to the nunnery. And Aunt Mary cried her eyes out.
This is Jim Bratton Podcast. You may enjoy some, or all, or none. Now, here's Jim.
Mary and I have been together 44 years, all right? And about 10 years ago, we talked about doing something, a book, that we would call Focus Your Inner Bitch.
I thought it was a very interesting thing you asked me to do. And I said, Jim, wait a minute, I have to focus my inner bitch. And you said, that's it, that's the name.
Well, it was, because
It's
a skill set. And that's what we needed to talk about first, was exactly how that came about.
Yeah.
But, and by the way, we're sitting up here at Studio 206 at Marmo, or the makeshift Studio 206. Mary has in her hand, what kind of drink is that?
It's a wonderful drink that Jaron introduced me to, and I love it.
Okay.
That's what I'll tell you.
We've got the room tied up for a while. We were going to do this as an audio book, or as a book in general. And since I'm doing some podcasts, and the interviews seem to be going well, we talked about it, and we said, why should Mary do a monologue when we can do it as a question and answer? It's your story, Mary, okay? It is. I'm just asking the questions to let you tell it. Okay, let's go back. This Focus Your Inner Bitch is what this series is going to be. And it's what, 10 years ago that what the hell was it that I asked you?
I don't remember what it is you asked me to do, but I said, Jim, you'll have to wait till I focus my inner bitch to do it. And then, of course, we jumped off into that. That was what the name of the book was. We'd been talking about it for at least a year before then, and you were calling it all kinds of other things. And when I said that, no, that was it, period.
So
Focus your inner bitch. And can I remember? But for some reason, you think I'm the strongest person in the world.
it's interesting. When I think of you, I think of somebody that virtually can do anything. And I was thinking about that the other day. And I was thinking, I have never had a question in my mind that you could do anything. I know if you say you're going to do something, you can and you will. Maybe that's what your Focus Your Inner Bitch is. It means just finding a way. How long has your life been finding a way?
77 years. I can't believe I'm 77 years old.
All right. I want to talk about even before your 77 years, because your family has such a great history, okay? Tell me about your mom and your dad and how they met, where they lived, the neighborhood. Where do you want to start on that?
I know about their early courtship and what have you.
Tell me about the neighborhood to start with.
It was the old Magnolia area over there by 75th and between Harrisburg and Navigation. And
So was there a cluster of...
it was just little shotgun houses. My folks, my mother lived at one end of the neighborhood and my dad lived in another end of the neighborhood. My dad lived in the white part of the neighborhood because my grandmother looked very white and she spoke very good English. This is my dad's mom, and she bought this house, and later they came to realize that she was married to Gregorio, who was a Mexican and very dark Indian-looking fellow. But he was tall, and anyway, they had to accept him. She bought the house.
Too late.
Exactly, too late.
Is that a big swallow hard
Too
moment
late,
for a lot
yes,
of people?
But
Did you ever talk about what the community's reaction was when they
He-
figured out they were Latin?
No, I don't think they ever did, really.
But that's the end of the block
Yes,
that
that
your
was
head was from.
That was, yes, and it was right there by Franklin Elementary.
Franklin, what's that corner?
That's about 71 or 2, and Maltby, in that area, and Canal.
Okay. Do I have this right that they ended up in the early 1900s settling there because of the port, because there was work?
That's
the
on
poor?
my mother's side.
Okay.
My mother's side, of course, we had, you've interviewed Aunt Mary and the crossing, and she remembers and what have you, and how they went to an onion farm, and then finally they moved back. They came to Houston.
Right.
And
After
they
a trip
found,
through
yes,
East
after,
Texas.
and so they were at the train station, and somebody told them to take the streetcar to the end, and there they would probably find work because it was the shipyard. So my grandfather, my great-grandfather and his two oldest sons got on the streetcar and went to the end. When they came back, they had rented a small place for them to live, and I think it was like a lean-to or something that they were in, and they all had jobs, and
So in the afternoon, they all got jobs and found a place to live.
it was just amazing. And my grandfather knew, he was a little tiny guy, and he knew a little arithmetic, so they would let him count things, and so I guess that's what he did at the ship channel.
Like a checker.
Or something. Yes. And I don't know what my Uncle August did, but anyway, he did something because they all three had jobs. Later, as it turns out, my great-grandfather went to work at Rice University. Of course, they did anything that they could do for money. Let's see. Aunt Mary was a nun. My mother tells a very sad tale. My great-grandparents had 5 children, I guess. Mercedes, Dean, Raphael, and Aunt Mary. None of them, all of the older ones, were married or getting married. They decided they needed one person to be a nun or a priest. Uncle Ralph didn't go, so they sent Aunt Mary to the nunnery. And Aunt Mary cried her eyes out.
Oh my.
She did not want to go, and Mother remembers that.
Oh my.
So isn't that a sad thing?
It really is. And then Aunt Mary being Mexican,
Yes.
they gave her the crap jobs.
Oh, yes. But no, she insisted she wanted to learn how to read and write and be a teacher and what have you. And she prevailed somehow. I don't know how she prevailed, but you, as I said, you've done that story. And I think you need to resurrect that.
You're right.
You have it
A DAT.
recorded.
I need to
so
send it
you
off and
need
have
to-
it brought to a contemporary medium that I
Right,
can use. I
too.
think that could be an opening or an insert as we do.
It was quite a story.
And then, interesting enough, she became ill.
Yes.
And that's an even sadder
It was
story.
a horrible story, yes. Poor Aunt Mary, I don't know what she had. She might have had bone cancer or something, but she had to have a bone removed from one area, like a rib or something.
Right.
Now, the sad part is the nunnery said, we can't afford for you to have that surgery. So her parents said, get out of the nunnery and come home, and we can afford to have that surgery. And so she did. She got out of the nunnery and had the surgery. And I remember as a child going to see her, and her on that bed, and it was as hard as this table. It was a wooden plank she was laying on. Aunt
Yes.
Mary had to do it
No, I know.
or not
but
get
you're right.
well.
This is not a matter of choice.
Not
This
a
is not
matter of choice.
self-flagellation
Not-
or anything.
no.
No. And the order not standing behind her is just a sad story. And I need to tell you, we're talking about 2 generations back now. This is not your parents. This is the generation preceding
Yes,
your parents.
my great-grandparents and my great-aunt.
We're trying to give you a perspective of what came together to make you just as incredibly strong as you are, Mary. This is not just your generation. This is at least 2 generations prior.
Hey, we did what we had to do.
Yeah.
That's what I'll tell you. Now,
Your parents'
Daddy
generation.
went to work at was a grocery store.
Right.
They told him he could eat all the candy he wanted, and I think he did one day, and then it made him sick, so he didn't do it much anymore.
Belcher
It was a little
store.
neighborhood store right there across from Franklin Elementary. Oh, now my daddy also remembers going to grocery supply in a horse and buggy wagon and
That's 8 or so.
something to go to Grocery Supply to pick up groceries because his aunt, one of Tia Luisa's husbands, this is my daddy's aunt, Tia Luisa, and one of her husbands had a store. And so this was when Daddy was very young. He remembers going to the
With a
grocery
team of
supply to pick up groceries.
with horse and cart.
Yeah. Now then, after that, when they bought the house and what have you. Oh, and Daddy, when my grandpa, this is my daddy's daddy,
Right.
Grandpa, and that's what we called him, Grandpa. He lost his job, and I don't remember. It was during really bad times, and they had 1 more year or 2 more years to pay off the house. My grandmother made Daddy quit school and go to work full-time. He went to work full-time at Belshaw's so that they could pay off the house.
So he quit school.
So he quit school and they paid off the house. The moment they paid off the house, my grandmother made him go back to school.
For those of you who don't know, this whole neighborhood is on the edge of the ship channel.
Truly it was. My daddy tells a story about bringing an alligator home. It was probably about 2 or 3 feet long.
That's good size.
And yeah, I'm surprised he could because alligators' teeth are very sharp.
Oh, yes.
But anyway, he brought this alligator home and he tied it up between 2 pecan trees in their backyard. And I remember those pecan trees very well because we played in those pecan trees.
They were climbable.
Anyway. He tied it up there, and so she goes out the back, grandmother goes out the back door to hang clothes on the line, and the alligator goes, she says, Gregory. And Gregory comes out. He says, yes, Mom. She says, what is that? He says, that's alligator, Mom. What is he doing here? Oh, he followed me home. Grandma says, yeah. She says, take him back to the bayou. Okay, Mom. And he goes back in the house. She says, Gregory, now. So he took the alligator back to the bayou. My grandma was very strong-willed, extremely strong-willed.
Do you think that's acquired in your case?
Probably genetics. I think it's
Let's hear
genetics.
some more about your dad, his Tom Sawyer Huckleberry Finn exploits. Learning to swim where?
In the bayou, of course, in the bayou. Where else?
And this,
And his brother, now he had an older brother, probably about 10 years older than he. This is a horrible side story, but my grandma lived in Hempstead, and when the plague came through, she lost most of her family. She had a set of twins and another child and her husband, and all 4 of those 4 all died in the plague, and nobody would help her. She went to several churches to try to get some help. The Methodists finally helped her, so she decided if the Methodists were going to help me, I was going to turn Methodist, and so she turned Methodist. And
much to the chagrin, I'm sure,
of everybody. Well, they weren't there to help her. So they turned to Methodist, and the only child that survived was my Uncle Arthur. And I believe he was about 8 or 10 years older than Daddy. He was a really wheeler-dealer guy. Whatever it was he had, if he found some sewing machines, he was selling sewing machines. It didn't matter whether they had electricity or not. He was going to sell them a sewing machine. And he was a gambler of sorts, and he would have Daddy go with him.
how old was your dad now?
I have no idea how old Daddy was.
He was young.
He was probably about, 10 or 12, maybe? And he'd say, I'm going to go in there, and when I come out, I want you to take off right away.
So your dad was driving him.
So my dad
He was a chauffeur before, as a teenager?
Yes. He'd say, my Uncle Arthur would jump in the car and he'd say, let's go. And boom, off they went. And one day they came home They came home with chickens because that's all they could pay him with for their sewing machine. So they had chickens, chickens, and chickens. They had chicken for every meal, they said, for a long time, eating those damn chickens.
Now, your dad was already showing his mechanical
Oh,
expertise.
because he would fix
interesting.
sewing machines
So what, your uncle would buy a group of salvage
or
machines?
whatever he could wheeler dealer with.
Your dad would fix them, and he would hustle them as new sewing machines?
Didn't they have those
Oh, they had
treadle
some they had
machines?
treadle machines.
Anyway, it was very interesting stories my daddy would tell.
Did that uncle ever have a job, a real job?
Not to my knowledge. He moved to California before I was born, I think they moved to California. He had some very high-powered friends. When he died, he had some movie stars come to his funeral.
Really?
Movie stars, yes. And Daddy and Aunt Gertie and Aunt Julia got on an airplane and went to the funeral of Arthur.
Did they?
Yes, and they met these movie stars. So they knew.
He was a player.
A player, truly. Now, I don't think he ever had any children.
Yeah,
I don't know if he had any children or not. I don't think so. He'd married a couple of times, and there's somebody named Annie and another Big Annie and Little Annie, and do I know anything about those? I have no idea.
Big Annie and Little Annie?
Yeah, there was a couple of Annies. She had brothers and sisters, so they had a lot of nieces and nephews. My Uncle Arthur's wife.
Oh,
And-
whether it's Big Annie or Little Annie.
No, I don't know.
One of the Annies,
but any one of
probably.
the Annies. And they all were around, and I don't know if he taught them how to make money or what, but he was always taking care of all of those people. And he begged my mother and daddy to go to California.
Yeah.
And he did beg Uncle Tony and Emma, and they went. Now, remember, they had lived in Denver Harbor
Right.
before we did, Tony and Emma, and the house that they sold was sold to the Varas, Rudy and,
Well, we better back up because
yeah, the Vara family.
I'm getting
And
confused on
the
this.
Vara family is another Magnolia family.
Okay, Magnolia,
Yes,
it was the point of origin.
yes.
It was in Magnolia that your mom and dad met. Let's go back to that relationship there.
Mother says, let's see, a tale. Oh, a tale that maybe I shouldn't tell. They were at some kind of a festival, a bazaar of something,
Yeah.
and it was obviously a makeout place. Daddy asked Mother if she would go back there, and she said, oh no, she would not go back there. Only bad girls would do that. So she didn't go. And it turns out that they dated for a while, and Daddy asked her to marry him, and she said yes, but she wanted to go to beauty school first. And so he said, so you don't want to marry me? She said, yes, I do, but I want to go to beauty school first. I want to graduate. He said, no. He said,
He was ready then.
no, he was ready then.
Yeah.
And anyway, she didn't marry him. She went to beauty school. And while she went to beauty school, a friend of hers had a car, and he saw her at the bus stop, and he'd said,
This is your dad.
no, not my dad.
Oh, the friend. Oh,
The
friend.
male friend with a car
Got it.
said, I'll take you to school. So he would take her every day to school,
Yeah.
and he would bring her back.
Yeah.
So my daddy thought that he was
A suitor.
Mother's suitor. And he was not, he was just a friend. He took her,
Yeah.
brought her back. I mean, they were going to
Dad got jealous.
similar place or what have you. Yes, exactly. Anyway, she
Finished.
just finished beauty school, and her friend, Esther Postel, gave her a graduation party. And at the graduation party, Esther had my daddy there as a date for my mother. Because Esther knew that my mother wasn't dating this guy, and she knew that daddy,
So it's a fixed up deal, but neither one of them knew about it?
what-
How old were they?
I don't know, let's see, if mother was born in 21 and they got married in 40, she was what, 18?
Yeah.
or so.
And your dad had graduated from high school by then?
Yes,
He missed a
but
year.
he missed a year and a half of school. So that's why he was a little older. And that's why Mother didn't know him, because he was a little older than she.
Yeah, a couple of years makes a big difference in those ages.
Yes, in those ages.
And later on, doesn't make any difference at all. When did he ask her to marry him? And we'll begin to wrap up there.
Oh, he asked her again sometime. Do I remember? No.
But she said yes.
But yes, then they got married. And
because she was a beautician then.
yes, she was a beautician then, and she worked at the Dollar Wave. And the Dollar Wave, yes, that's downtown Houston, the Dollar Wave. And there, I wish I could find the picture of Mother and Daddy walking down the street, and they were so smartly dressed. Daddy with the hat on and a suit, and he worked at a jeweler, and they were making rosaries and that sort of thing. Oh, so Daddy does, they were making rosaries.
Let me just get this inconsistent. Jewish jeweler is making and selling rosaries.
Yes.
And your dad, good Catholic boy,
yes,
is doing the fabrication work.
Helping with that, yes. They're trying to do the little chains, right? Daddy gets a drill, and they're making these little loops by hand.
With the needle, those pliers.
Exactly,
and stuff.
jeweler's plier. They're making these little loops by hand.
Yeah.
Daddy gets the damn drill and attaches the silver to it and goes, and then he cuts it down. They have all these little loops. The Jewish jeweler thought he'd died and gone to heaven. Daddy had invented something there.
Already. Your dad could do anything mechanical.
He always found a way to make things easier.
To make
always. Whatever he could do to make something easier, he would do it.
I remember him always finding a way, make a jig for a saw or something. I remember helping Butch do that on the flooring and everything.
Yes, exactly.
Boy, we're jumping way around here, Mary, but we got so many stories to tell. All right, so here's where we are. We got a little bit of your background. We've got your parents close to being married. Next time we'll pick up with your folks getting married and where it went from there. It's been a great background. I'm seeing how this focus your inner bitch attitude has prevailed for a long time. And we'll talk about your mom too, because she...
Oh my gosh, and I haven't told you the worst of my moms.
We'll save that for next time. Be sure and listen to episode 2 of Focus Your Inner Bitch.
This has been Jim Bratton Podcast. We hope you have enjoyed, been inspired, informed, angered, or otherwise emotionally stimulated. This is your booth announcer, Sierra Sakel.